What's up gamers, my name is ThatJack, and welcome back to Geometry Dash. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pixel style level, and I don't really have much more to say, so let's just get right to it. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have quite a lot more ideas for videos and a lot more free time, so I'm going to be trying to post a lot more often than I have for the past year or so. So here I have this this little layout I made. It's not completely finished, but I'm just gonna decorate maybe the first couple parts in this video, and then I might release it as a full level if I get around to finishing it. Now it uses the song Morocco by Step, and so I kind of want to go for a desert theme. So the first thing I have here is I have this ground with a few slopes to make it a bit hilly, a bit more natural looking. So let's look for some kind of object we can use to fill in this space. It has been a while since I've made a pixel style level, and I've forgotten just how many pixel blocks there are. Okay, so after a very long time searching, I've decided to go with these blocks to use for the ground because they have these slope objects that fit with the shape of the ground and the layout. And while searching, I also went through and found a bunch of these details that I thought would look good in the level, because I want there to be a bunch of ruins in the desert that you have to jump through, and then eventually a pyramid here, and then you enter like a ruin dungeon type of thing here. So now that we have the blocks, we need a color for the background, so let's go here, click the plus so we can see the background color as we change it. And it's going to be a desert, so I do kind of want it to be like an orangey color. That's fine for now. We just want an idea. And I'm going to set the level's actual ground to black just so we don't see it. Set the line to black so you don't see it. And now for the level's colors, I like to set it up like this. Color 1 is white, color 2 is black, color 3 is usually the main block design color, color 4 is a darker version of that, color 5 is an accent color, and then color 6 we can make this ground color. I'm going to copy paste the background color into here. I've set both channels to use this copied background color, and now we can go into here and we can edit it a bit using the hue, saturation, and brightness. Usually when you're using these sliders, it can be a good idea to, when you're making things darker, to also increase the saturation. So that looks pretty good, I think, for a base. And then we can copy the color onto this object, so now they fit. Okay, so I've come up with this base for the ground using these objects. What I've done is I've just copy pasted the background color onto these, and I changed the saturation and brightness. I turned the saturation down to make it more dry, and then I altered the brightness, either increase or decrease it, to make it stand out more, especially on these objects. So now all we need to do is just fill in the ground here, so I'm just going to cut to when that's done. Okay. So now I've filled in the ground. I've left some room for the structures. I kind of want them to look like they are kind of buried under the sand. And so now we need to do the block design, or at least the first part of it. I'm going to use these blocks, and I'm just going to set them to color 3 and 4. And we can edit these colors later. I know they might not look the best at the moment. Okay, so I'm back from designing the block design. I have also redone the colors. This took a while to get it right. I used this background gradient effect from Destriv. And so for the block design, I went for these two colors, this like muddy red, orange, and this lighter sand color, which put together looks pretty good on the block design. And then I used these highlight blocks to make a lighter part, a highlight, with this orangey, bright orange color with blending. and then this darker red color. What I've been doing in this when designing the colors is I took into consideration the hues of the color. So for example, if we look at this color wheel, the brighter colors are all towards yellow, the middle is orange, and then for the darker colors I use more of a red. So that way there's some variation in the hue within the block design itself. So now I also did that with these. These are going to be these pillars that you see sticking up from the ground, and they also have these highlights, so when you paste it on there it looks pretty nice. And then I also recolored some of the other objects I had in mind, the rocks, vases, skulls. For the other ones, these plants, one thing I've noticed is that RobTop seems to like it when in pixel art levels the details have more realistic colors. So for a level like this, I'm gonna go with plant colors for the plants, which might sound, it sounds a little obvious, but I don't know what I'm saying. If you've ever been wondering how to make the pixel objects look good, all you really need is a darker color and a light color, and then just put the dark color first and then the light color second. The way I usually do things is I have the dark color be the detail color, but with these pixel objects it's the other way around from what you'd expect. We can also do this with the pillar, put it on 4 and then 3, and it looks pretty nice. It looks kind of weird if you do it the other way around, 3 and then 4. So make sure you're using the dark color first and then the light color. Okay, so I found this object here. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it looks pretty cool when you place it on top of these pillar things. So that is what I'm going to do for this block design. Just put it on layer 1 and then kind of copy paste it around here. I'm going to vary the order of these blocks. Okay, so I have actually decided to use that block pattern from up here, or at least the blocks that look like it, just to fill in the bottom floor. And now I'm using these extra bricks, which kind of go with it, to make a pattern up here, almost like a back wall, that will connect up this top structure to the bottom. I'm just going to edit the colors and darken it a bit so that it's more clear that it's not part of the gameplay like the blocks down here are. Okay, so I've come up with 2 different spike designs. I think I'm going to go with these ones over these ones. These ones kind of look like teeth, which might be a cool idea to use later, but maybe not in this part. So I'll keep them around for now, but I'm going to fill in these spikes with these ones. Okay, so I've decided to just use these spikes up here. I maybe don't want these ones to be like that. I kind of want these spikes to be probably in the ground a little bit and like rotate it so that they look like they've been buried. And I think giving them the color, if we give them the color of the block design like that, that doesn't really look that great. We could switch it up and go with something like that. It still looks a bit odd, especially with compared to something like this block design. Okay, so I've come up with this darker design color, and I'm starting to realize that I just don't like the ground much. So I think I'm going to change that. Okay, so let's add some of the details to this to make this a bit better. So the first thing is I want to add a couple of these vases here, just around, nothing too special about them. Maybe one of them is knocked over. I think we could have some plants around. Maybe we could put them on editor layer 2 and have them back here. But for that we need a color. So let's go next free. We'll choose 13 or 14. So we want them to be a bit yellowy because they're in the desert. And then 14, they're still going to be kind of green. I think I do like that. Maybe we can just decrease the brightness a bit so that it's not super bright. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. I also think I'm going to save this one for later. I think for background plants that's good, but we should also have plants in the foreground. I'm just going to copy basically the same strategy I did here with the yellow and green. I think yellow and green for plants ends up looking very nice. We can even try setting these to yellow and green. Maybe, I think we did that the wrong way around. This would be 16 and then 15. Yeah, that looks pretty good. For some of these, like I think these are supposed to be flowers, so we want to maybe get like a yellowish color for that. But then for this one, let's see if we could get like a Okay, so now I've created these like pink flowers that we can put around somewhere. Just gonna like layer them on top, and then put like some on the block design there. Kind of just like hanging vines. I don't think they really go there. Maybe we can put like a skull outside. Maybe one up there too. Most of the fun with this style is that you can just... There's so many details in the game that you can pretty much just play around with, like, adding as much little things as you want. You can add all these little plants, these vases, skulls, cobwebs. I tried something there with the boulders, it didn't really work. I think the boulders are fine, but there's already enough going on over here. Part of creating is knowing when you need to add more details to make something good. Like with this ground, I think we either need to change it or add a lot more to it, and when to stop. Like this block design has enough details here already, because we got to remember that we have to make the other ones as well, and then also have that same amount of detail for the whole level. So I'm going to fill in the rest of the block designs. I might also change the ground, and then the next thing to add will be the background. I'm back after filling in all of the blocks in this part. I saved this little pyramid thing and this whatever it is because I kind of want those are more distinct structures, so I kind of want those to be more especially like made. I also changed up the ground to these blocks.
Human cameo.
Oh my god. Nah, you're getting cut out of the video, Brett. So I still think the ground is a bit basic. I think I'm going to end up adding some more layers to it in the final level, but for now it's a pretty good start. Hello everyone, this is post-editing Jack. I didn't realize how much footage I had to edit, so this is now split up into 2 parts. The next video will release soon, and we'll have the background, the foreground, the air deco, and that's it, probably. If you want to see that, please subscribe. If you don't want to see that, also subscribe, because I will make other videos, and I want to see the number go up higher. That is all. Thank you for watching.